Welcome back to Tam's Classy Creations, the channel where we break down projects so even a beginner can do it. Hello friends, I hope everyone's having a blessed day. Today I'm going to be decorating and modifying a tote. I will show you how to do it with a sewing machine or without. These ideas really take your totes to another level and make them beautiful. Please like the video, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. All right, let's start the video. These are the supplies we need. Of course, our modified tote. We'll need 6 strips of fabric cut to length that are 4.5 inches wide. You'll also need one cut 3. We need a glue gun. We may need fabric cut 1.25 inches, a strip. We'll need scissors, marking pen, rulers. We'll need some ribbon, a needle and thread, and stitch Witchery. This is a tote I'm using in the video for today. I purchased it at Joann's, of course, with a 50% off coupon. It is 18 by 16 by 3. It's fairly large. So one of the modifications I like to do to most totes, because it is a medium canvas, is give it stability at the bottom in the box. So what I did is I measured about how big the box was in the bottom, and it's about 3 by 15. So what I do is I cut a piece of Peltex PF 71, and it has one side iron on. I actually just glue on that side, and I usually use Fabric Fusion. So I take the bag and turn it inside out, and I have attached this one, and I will glue that down, lay some books on it, get it good, and that really makes the bottom sturdy. And so then we're ready to decorate it. Now first we're going to make some ruffles for the bag. We're going to make 3 sets. We cut out 6 lengths of fabric 4.5 inches, so we'll have enough for 3 ruffles. Now the rule of thumb for ruffling is you need your material 2 to 2.5 times longer to get that pretty ruffle. So the tote going this way is 18 and the back would be 18, so that is 36 inches just around the tote. Now times 2 would be 72. So we need fabric over 72 to get between 2 and 2.5. So your fabric comes anywhere from 42 to 45. So we're going to call this 42. So if we sew 2 together, we will have 84, and that will be enough to ruffle each ruffle that we're going to put on here. Now we need to hem all the ruffles. So an easy way, we want about a 1/4 inch hem. So what we'll do is we'll fold it up a 1/2 inch and iron it. Then we'll unfold it and fold the material back down to the line and then press that. And so we have about a 1/4 inch seam. Now you'll want to stitch it real close to the edge. Now if you want the no-sew method, I've taken my stitch Witchery, the fusible bonding web, and I've cut it in half. Now you want to make sure it's smaller than your seam. You don't want it sticking out. What I do is I just lay it in there, and you will press it, and that will glue or bond your hem in. Now for each of the sets of 2 that we sewed together, we're going to ruffle these. So we want to do the end that does not have the hem in it. We're going to make about a 1/4 inch seam, but first we're going to lengthen our stitch. My sewing machine will lengthen to a 5. So the default is usually anywhere from 2 to 2.5. So we need to make long stitches so we can ruffle this. Now, we're not going to back tack at the end, but we are going to back tack at the beginning. And we're going to make about a 1/4 inch seam And remember, these stitches are big. So I'm back tacking here. Now when we get to the end, we want to pull a tail so we have something to hold on to. So that's gonna help us make our ruffle. Now for the no-sew on the ruffles, we have two options. One is with a needle and thread without a sewing machine, and the other is not. But I have put a thread and knotted it. And you start at one end, and all you're gonna do is make a running stitch. So I come in. Now you don't wanna make them really small, but you wanna go up and down. You wanna run with this. They don't have to be even. Now for gathering this, it's pretty easy with the thread like that. And so you won't be sewing this on like we will with the sewing machine, but it will help you in gluing it down. Now the other option for the no-sew method is truly a no-sew. So what you're gonna do, and it really looks nice, you need a glue gun so it dries fast, but you're going to be gluing it on, and ever so often you're going to make a little pleat, but it'll stay. We'll show you how it'll stay on. So those are the two methods for gathering the no-sew. So now we need to get some lines on our bag so that'll make it much easier to sew. So I don't want the ruffles to hang down below the bag, so I'm going to make the first one about 4.5 inches from the bottom, and the bottom is where the tote lays flat. Remember the box? It's not in the middle of that, it's right where I put that Peltex. So we're going to go 4.5. So let's see here. Okay, and the other two rows, I want them to be about 3 inches. I want to cover that ruffle, you know, I want the ruffle to come down. So I'm going to make them about 3 inches from this line. So there's 3 inches from here to here and 4.5 from here to here. So my ruler measures 4 inches, so. Okay, and we need one more. Now we need to use these lines I made for the placement line. We're going to place our ruffles right under that. Now I'm going to start where I back tacked, and I'm going to place that and pin it down on the seam. So what you do on the other end, you'll start pulling the bobbin thread. Now you need to be careful, because if you snap it, you will have to start all over. So we just pull on that and slowly just gather our ruffle. And we're going to do that on all 3 of them. Now, so we have evenly spaced ruffles. The seam that we did should come to the seam here, and that's how you know, and we'll pin it there. So we'll fix these gatherings, and we'll put some pins in. We'll make sure it's even. Now we'll take it to this side, and we're going to end here. And as you see, I did fold it over to start with, and when we do place it down, we will just fold it over and place it there. Now we still need to ruffle some more. So we start pulling the bobbin slowly, and especially at this point, you don't want to break it. Now once you have the first one pinned on, I think I would stitch it first. It'll be a little easier. Now you have to go inside the bag, make sure you didn't pin the bag together. And you want to stitch either on that gathering stitch or very close to it. So you'll want to stitch all this across, and then you'll want to add your next ruffle. And I would start from the bottom down, from the bottom up, and do the same thing. And then here's going to be my third one. So we do those one at a time, and then we'll start stitching the first one. Now I have the 2 rows of ruffles on, and finishing up my last row I'm going to stitch on. Just take your time. Now if you use the hand needle to gather, you can still sew that on the machine. But if you don't want to use the machine, we will use a glue gun. So we're still going to do it just like we sewed it. We're going to put it right under our line. And pretty simple to glue this all around the bag. I would just do little sections with the glue gun. Now I have one other method. If you don't want to use the hand needle, you can just put it on your line and make some pleats and gather it, but you can also iron them in. So I'll show you that method. So we can still put a little bit on, and they're ironed on, so we want to put this up to the line. Now, that'll gather too, just like the other ones. But you might want to pick up each of these little gathers and just put a little dot of fabric fusion. And so then you won't have these ever coming up. But just that easy to go around it. So now we have the 3-inch strip of fabric. Now I do fold it in half, wrong sides together, and press it. And we also do our gathering stitch, however you did your ruffles. And then you start. Now this is doubled, so sometimes when I teach this, I like to teach it with the hand needle and thread, because this is tougher with 2 layers. So what you're going to do is gather this. Now we did knot it, you know, we back stitched at the beginning, just like the other ones. And that is so we can get it as tight as it'll go. Now once you get this gathered fairly tight, we need to tie this end, because remember we already knotted the beginning. But I want to tie this so it doesn't come out. I'll clip these threads. And you can hand sew this, but I like to glue it. So you're going to start at one of the ends. And you can use Fabric Fusion or you can use the glue gun. But this seems to hold okay. So I just fold over the beginning and I wrap it some. And then I put some glue, just a little bit. And all I'm doing is rolling it. Put a little more glue. Roll it. Now once your flower is dry, you can attach it either with glue, with a safety pin. You can glue a tie tack there if you'd like to take it off, or you can stitch it on. So any way you want. Now we have a few little things yet to do with our bag. Where the seams come together here, I am just going to run a stitch back and forth here on the hemline. And as you see, just to kind of close those up. Now the final thing is fixing this so it looks a little nicer. There's a couple things you can do. You can make bias binding or just binding. This one you use 1.25 inches, and this one you use 1.5 inches. And you just feed it through. Now you don't even have to have this. You can just cut a piece and iron it on. Iron it down, right sides together. So we can stitch this on, we can glue it on, and I have one other option. Now you can use a 1/4 inch ribbon around here and glue that on, or you can sew it on, or if you want just a little wider, 3/8 looks nice also, and you can glue that on or sew it on. I hope you liked the modification and decorating ideas I gave you on this tote today. I wanted to give you a couple different ways of doing it, just in case you didn't want to use a sewing machine. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next video. Bye.